Now, as we move into this portion of the course, what I want to do is show you how to create some databases, then show you how to create some tables, and then some odds and ends about all those, because what I want to get to is the process of administering these databases, such as using transaction logs, getting into backups, how SQL Server stores data so you can see exactly how to design the databases and maintain them and so forth. So first up, let's look at creating a database. There's a couple of ways to do this. The first way, probably the easier way, is to simply do it graphically through the Server Management Studio. And the way we'll do this is if I point to databases on my SQL Server, point to the databases folder, right-click it, and choose New Database. And you'll notice a new database dialog pops up, and I'm going to create a database called Mark. So I just put Mark in the database name. The owner I'll leave as default because I'm logged in as an administrator. And notice what it did. I'm going to back this back out, but notice right here in the logical name, the transaction log, it put a name in here for me, okay, right here. Now if I want to change that, I can come down here and change these, but I'll leave them alone. Then you'll notice we get into file groups. We'll talk about those a little bit later. The initial size of my database, I can change this if I would like. I can make it as large or small as I would want. Auto growth we'll talk about in just a second. Notice the path. Where do I want this database to actually be physically located on my hard disk? And I can click the Browse button, and it will give me choices to where I want to go put this. And I can locate it anywhere I would like, obviously. Hang on just a minute, it's thinking. And so you can notice the locate folder, and then I can just browse out and put my database anywhere I would like, and I'll cancel that. I can do that for both the database files and for the transaction log files as well, and I'll talk about that a little bit later on. Okay, so having done that, let's talk about auto growth just a second. Now, when I create my database, say at 3 megabytes, let's say that I know that this database may grow to like 10 megabytes. It's a very small database. Well, I could either bump it up to 10 right now, but let's say I know I'm going to be maybe a year and a half before I get to that limit of 10. I can tell it to auto grow the database. Anytime I run out of space, then automatically grow it by 1 megabyte. And it will grow to an unrestricted size. Okay, so if I click on the little ellipsis button here, notice I've enabled auto growth, and I'm telling it to grow in megabytes, 1 megabyte each time, and unrestricted file growth. Now be aware, this means this thing will actually fill up my entire disks if I'm not careful and don't keep an eye on this thing. I might want to set restricted file growth to 100 megabytes, so this thing will never grow past 100 megabytes. It'll throw an error or stop working if I try to exceed that. Now I can also grow it in percent, and you need to be careful with this, because if I grow this by 10% and do unrestricted, now at this point I'm growing it by 10%. That means every time this database grows, it grows 10% of its current size. That's okay right now, but what if I have a 5 gig database? Every time it grows, it's going to grow by 500 megabytes. Now that's a huge chunk, and I may not have that kind of space, and there's all kind of issues that can come up there. So just be aware that you know what's going on here with auto growth. I will tell you, a lot of DBAs, again, put 2 sets in a room and ask them about auto growth, and there'll probably be an argument. Some people love this, others don't, because when auto growth happens, there is a schema lock put on the entire database for a few milliseconds while this is happening. So basically your database is locked, and you can't control when auto growth happens. A lot of people like to turn auto growth off and then just monitor the database closely and grow it when they need to. However you'd like is up to you. Now when I click OK here, you'll notice it will click and hum just a second, and there's my database Mark. And if I expand Mark down here, you will notice that I don't have any tables in here of my own because I haven't created any, and I don't have any views because I haven't created any of those. There are some system views in there and so forth. So now at this point, I have a database, it's empty, and I'm ready to put some tables into it. Now, in the next video, I want to talk about database properties and options that you have, and there's quite a few of those.